Hi, welcome to the Blender Beginner Modeling Masterclass. In this lesson, we will learn basic navigation, how to add objects, understand mesh primitive, and use Move, Rotate, and Scale tool to create a simple low-poly car only in object mode. So let's get into it. So this is the Blender interface. You can see it in all the versions of Blender. So it's contain a default cube and the 3D scenes, and there are many editor types like properties, outliner in the 3D viewport. So let's start. The first thing is to learn navigation. So you can pan with Shift Alt left mouse button or just using the middle mouse button. So if you are using the laptop, you can use Shift Alt left mouse button, or if you're using the 3-button mouse, you can just use the middle mouse button. Then the next thing is rotating the scene. So when you have a selected object, you can rotate around it with Alt and left mouse button or Alt plus middle mouse button. Okay, so there is rotating the scene, and then there is zooming. So you can zoom with the mouse wheel. Forward will move into and backward will move out of the scene. So that's navigation. Then there is front, side, and top orthographic views. So with 5 you can go to the orthographic mode. With 1 you can go to front mode. With 3 you can go to side mode, and with 7 you can go to top mode. So when you know all these things, you can model quickly and efficiently, placing the objects and their specific locations. Okay, then we come to adding and deleting objects. So for adding, we will delete this cube. So for deleting, we will press X, and here the delete option appears. So we will press the delete and the object is being deleted. Another way of deleting the object is just press the delete button and the keyboard. It will delete the object. So now adding an object. So you can see here this add button. If we press this, we can add a mesh with that, like mesh, plane, cube, circle, and all the primitive meshes. Then there are curves, surfaces, and as you go further, you can learn all about these things. So for now, we are adding some cube. Now this box that is appear here contains all the data of this cube. Sometimes it's closed and sometimes it's open. So if it's closed, you can open it here. So the first thing is the size of this cube, mean the width, height, and length of this cube. So it's all 2 meters. So it's 2 meter cube. And every primitive has their own settings. Then there is the location and rotation. All these data can be obtained from here as well. This object properties, and also you can press N for the side panel, and in the item there is all the data of this cube. Okay, so another way of adding some primitive mesh is to press Shift A and then mesh, and you can add any sort of object and the data appears here. So there are segments, rings, and the radius of this sphere. Another method of adding a primitive object is to add it interactively, like from this button. And you can add other objects as well, like add a cone, add a cylinder, add a UV sphere. For example, we want to add a UV sphere. So we will click here and drag. That give us a sphere. So you can see the sphere is appeared here. After that is the other tools. So this is the selection tools. With tweak, you can tweak the object, like move the objects. With the select box, that is the default Blender tool. You can select the objects with that. And then there is the select circle and select lasso that are used in edit mode mainly, and you can also use that in object mode, but people don't use, so I also don't use. Then there is the 3D cursor tool. So with this you can move the cursor. It's simple. And if you want to bring that back to the origin of the world, with Shift C. Then there is the move tool. So with that you can move on X axis, Y axis, and Z axis by clicking that sort of arrows, like the blue arrow for Z axis, the green arrow for Y axis, the red arrow for X axis. And you can also move with by pressing the G key and pressing X, Y or Z to move that on the specific axis. And also you can move on two axes and excluding the one axis. Just press the G and shift that axis we want to exclude, so that will move it on the floor. Okay, the next thing is rotate. So rotate also work like that. When you rotate the object on the red line, it will rotate on X axis, and the green per Y and blue per Z, or the big line you can rotate it from the view. Okay, so that's for rotation. You can press R and rotate that on a specific axis or two axes or just from the view. Then there is a scale tool, so it's also like that. You can scale on Y axis, you can scale on X or Z or two axes and things like that. And the shortcut key for this is S. And there is annotate tool, so you can annotate here and you can draw something and the 3D viewport. Then this also contains some more tools like annotate line, annotate polygon, annotate eraser. Usually people use G for grab and R for rotate and S for scale, so people don't use these sort of tools. Then there is the measure tool, so you can measure distance, length, width and height of an object with this. And then there is adding the object, so I already tell you that. So now let's come to the practical project. So we come to the practical project. For that we are modeling a low poly car. So press Shift A to add a cube. Now we have this cube. We go to the side view, like the car will look from the side is like this. Scale it on Z axis a bit, scale it on Y axis like this, and now we go to front view and scale it on X axis as well. Now we go to the side view and Shift D Z and move that on Z axis. Shift D mean a duplicate, and then we scale it on X axis, Y axis. So to make some sort of car like shape, this will be like a blocky car, but for you to understand what's happening, then we need the wheels of this car. So we will press Shift A, mesh and cylinder. That will give us a cylinder, and that cylinder is like this is the cylinder. So we will rotate it. So R and Y, the green line, the Y and 90, so that will rotate the cylinder on 90 degree. Then move it on X axis and bring it here. Now if we go to the side view and move it up to here and scale it a bit, then we duplicate it. X and Y, we move it here, and after that we will scale that on X axis from front view, because it is bigger than the actual tire. So SX. Okay, so we have two wheels. We will duplicate these wheels. As you know about the shortcut of duplication, there is go to front view and press Shift D and X. Let's bring the view to center, GX, and bring it to here. So for the axle of the between the two wheels, we will duplicate one wheel, Shift D, and then we will scale it down, and then we will scale it on X axis. then we will move it on y-axis. Now x-axis, like for example press G and x-axis, and let's bring it here, then duplicate it. When you press shift D, the moving tool is enabled by default, so Y, and that will move it on y-axis and bring it here. We have some sort of low poly car. Okay, so we have a low poly car, and that's it for this lesson. And the next class we will move on to edit mode and learn how real modeling actually works, vertices, edges, passes, and all the important tools with some sort of practical work. It's going to be an important and very much exciting lessons, so make sure you don't miss it. And if this helped you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.